Alright, so welcome back. We're going to be doing another video in regards to shoulder exercises. Really, it's going to be really more so of a shoulder stretches, just because we really want to start to increase the range of motion within the shoulder, because once we start to have shoulder problems, you start to get really tight muscles within the chest, you get weak muscles in the back, but then also those ligaments start to get shortened as well, and they have a lot of scar tissue that we're trying to break through, and just to increase that range of motion to start getting normal functioning within the shoulder here. So there's a couple things we want to start doing. The first thing I would say is really, well, before I go into that, let's stretch out some muscles here. And really the first thing is really just the simple shoulder exercise where you're stretching across the body here. And then you're just going to hold that as comfortably as possible, and just holding that. They say for at least 30 seconds. If you don't hold a stretch for at least 30 seconds, the stretch is pretty much pointless at that point. So if you can hold it for at least 30 seconds, you want to go across the body. Same thing, I would do both sides if you're able to. If one side's just too painful to hold the other arm, then just don't worry about it. If you are having trouble just even holding your arm like this because both shoulders are problems, you might be able to basically find a wall or find something that's kind of posted and then lean against it, and then you're going to be basically pulling across the body here. Alright, so that's going to be something that you want to start doing, is just stretching those shoulders here. The other thing is too, is you can get a broomstick or a band or get a belt, and then you're just going to hold it across here and then have it in two hands, and you're just going to open up and stretch out the chest here. So really what we're doing is we're basically lifting that up as much as we're able to, stretching the chest muscles, and as we're stretching that, we're lifting it up just a little bit and going into extension here. Now again, if it's painful just to even do this far, then do something different. We'll do a different exercise. But if you're able to get this behind your back, and then just lifting that and extending your your shoulders and your elbows just as far back as you can, and you can even almost like you're pulling across. If you're just basically holding this and you're almost like pulling out this way, but you're basically pushing and extending back and then pulling and pushing out towards out to the sides here. So you're just pulling that back right over here to open up the shoulders. Again, 30 seconds would be solid if you can do that. And then the last one that I would say with the broomstick is you can basically hold this in the back. And what we want to do is, again, some people, they have problems reaching behind their back. So again, if this is too much, then just this might be the stretch for you. Just not even holding a broomstick, just trying to put this back and then pushing your elbow down a little bit. That can help to do a little bit of a stretch. But if you're able to, I want you to hold on to the broomstick, and you're just going to lift as much as you're able to, and you're going to be basically stretching out the ligaments and the muscles in the front here. And as you're doing this and you're pulling up, holding that again for at least 30 seconds. If you're able to, what I would recommend is even just extending it this way, and what you're doing is deepening that stretch a little bit. And as you're doing that, you're really trying to push that elbow out that way. So you're basically pushing, and then you're pulling up, and then you're extending back this way. So you're pulling the broomstick down, and then you're causing the arm to go up like this. So that's a good stretch for us here, okay? Both arms, again, I would recommend doing it both sides, but we're just trying to loosening up the ligaments in the shoulder and really stretching those up, but we are also trying to stretch out those muscles as well, okay? Now, the other thing I want you to start doing with a broomstick, or you can do it with a chair or just a stick, whatever you have. If you're outside, do it with a shovel, whatever you need to do. But basically, you're just gonna put the broomstick in front of you. I do it with this arm, and it's gonna be in front, and you're just gonna lean forward, and basically you're trying to push the broomstick down, and what you're doing is you're actually putting a little bit of strain on that shoulder to try to contract those muscles to pull that shoulder joint back into its socket here. And so as you're pushing down, you're going to lean forward there, and again, you can just go a little bit further and then lean down as well, and then you can go a little bit further and then lean down. So again, we're just trying to get that joint to push back into that socket, and as you're pushing down and leaning forward, it's basically going to contract and pull that joint into its socket here. So you're just leaning forward and putting some pressure there, just holding that for a few seconds, and then I guess doing it again. There you go. The last thing I would say is you can also do this with the chair. It's going to be the same thing, so I don't know if you can see the chair. Actually, what I'll do is I'll unfold it so it comes up a little bit higher. So you're just going to do the same thing with the chair. You're going to do both hands right here. You're going to lean forward. You're going to push down on the chair. You're going to step back, pushing down on the chair. So there's two things here. You're pushing down on the chair. You're leaning back, and as you push down, you're actually trying to reduce the kyphosis that you have, or the hunchback that you might have. So this is really good if you have rolled in shoulders, but also you're hunched over like this. It actually pushes and actually causes you to go into extension, which helps to flatten out some of that curve to help to open up your chest, as well as roll back those shoulders as well. So just leaning over here, pushing down, just holding that for a few seconds. Step back, pushing down, and again, if it's too painful, take it easy, ice the shoulder if you need to, and then try it again. Or if it's just too painful to the point where you can't do it, I would only go to the point where you feel comfortable, and then just go from there and try to push yourself every single day, trying to go a little bit further every single time. So I hope that helped you guys. It's pretty simple exercises. Again, we're just trying to stretch out those shoulders by pushing your shoulder back, stretching with a broomstick or a belt or anything that you have that you can kind of push back like this to really get some extension within the shoulder. But then also with the broomstick, you can utilize that to do many different things, with either just posting it in and then trying to stretch out and push that joint back in its socket. But then also with the chair, you can do the same thing, same type. I would actually recommend, this is a little bit too low of a chair. I would try to get something that's about hip waist height, and you can do it from there and go at that point. So whether it be a table, whether it be a higher chair, whatever you have available to you that's about waist height, that would be perfect. This chair is a little bit too small, so I would suggest something a little bit taller here. So I hope that helped you guys. Again, if there's any pain, make sure you ask your doctor if this is the best thing for you, but then also just, you're only going to go to the point of discomfort, and if it's too painful, you're not going to push past that. But if you do need to ice, make sure you're icing the shoulder just to help to reduce some of the inflammation and the swelling as well. All right, hope that helped you guys. God bless.